The Philadelphia 76ers, a team that has suddenly become very intriguing due to the opportunity presented by this Eastern Conference, and some photos and some videos that came out of Joel Embiid looking like he's in the best shape of his life. Now, it's still very precarious. We had the Paul George injury that popped up at Summer League. We found out last week that Jared McCain tore the UCL in his shooting thumb. That's obviously not good. Embiid's knee is still an absolute mess. So the margin for error is insanely thin. But there's like a legitimate opportunity now for this Sixers team to thread the needle, so to speak, and win the conference. They have the only player in the conference that, when he's healthy, can legitimately challenge Giannis. And Giannis is on a bad team. So a healthy Joel Embiid could easily be the best player in a series against Cleveland or New York. And they do at least have a somewhat intriguing roster when they're healthy. Quick offseason recap. They lost Ricky Council, who I actually like. He's in Brooklyn now. Guerschon Yabusele. And they might lose Quentin Grimes, although I'm going to guess that they'll eventually work something out there. I think there's too much to be gained for both teams, or both parties there. They added VJ Edgecombe through the draft, a super athletic and exciting young wing, and a variety of other young players through free agency in the draft. And so the core is essentially Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, the athletes, VJ Edgecombe, and Kelly Oubre, Andre Drummond, Jared McCain, the old vets like Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, and an assortment of younger players. It's not too difficult to talk yourself into upside here if you're a Sixers fan. I'm a huge Tyrese Maxey fan. Over the course of the last couple of years, due to injuries on the roster, he's been kind of foisted into a super high usage role. And in those situations, his efficiency has really tanked. But I still really love his combination of insane downhill speed, movement shooting, pull-up shooting, and he's improved as a passer over the years. I just think Tyrese Maxey is an awesome player. I just think he needs to be in a proper role, which, when healthy, the Sixers can put him in. I've always loved the idea of Paul George, in theory, as like a juiced up Michael Porter Jr. who can score off of the weak side, off of the attention that Embiid and Maxey gather, also run some second side action. And then Kelly Oubre and VJ Edgecombe bring athleticism amongst a group that needs it. That you can throw them at opposing perimeter players. I'd be really curious to see if maybe VJ ends up starting at the 2 this year. We'll see what ends up happening. I generally love the idea of anchoring this particular big 3 with top tier athletes that can guard. And that is a theoretical outcome with VJ and Kelly out there. If you bring Quentin Grimes back, you have legit scoring pop off the bench between him and Jared McCain. Andre Drummond, in theory, provides injury insurance or rest insurance for Embiid, although the Sixers would need a bounce back year from him. He kind of saw some substantial drops in production across the board last year. There is some intriguing stuff going on here with this roster. It's hard to get too much into the schematic side of things with this team just because we have so little information to go on due to their injury history. But it seems like a pretty straightforward approach in terms of team construct on both ends of the floor. On offense, this seems like a team that spams two-man game. A lot of Maxey Embiid two-man game, Embiid post-ups, Paul George spacing on the weak side, also as a secondary ball handler, Kelly Oubre corner threes, cutting along the baseline. We'll see what VJ Edgecombe can provide. Obviously, you can also go with offensive options at the 2 guard. A guy like Quentin Grimes who can knock down above the break threes at a high level. Jared McCain as well. You can kind of see how that would piece together, built off the foundation of the Maxey Embiid 2-man game and Embiid being able to play out of the post. Embiid off groups, there's a lot of ball handling there, right? Between Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain and Quentin Grimes if they bring him back. That type of offense could be more 5 out, more ball and player movement, weaponizing the strength of the roster, which is all that ball handling they have on the perimeter. That's the type of offense that I could see them running when Embiid's off the floor, more of those 5-out concepts. And then on defense, it's pretty straightforward, right? Traditional coverages, Embiid in varying versions of drop coverage, VJ Edgecombe and Kelly Oubre chasing over the top on the best perimeter players, Paul George in more or less a low man type of role, and then Tyrese Maxey, your stereotypical skill guard who's going to be doing hedging and recovering, that sort of thing, maybe switching with backside help. But we'll get a lot deeper into Philly X's and O's once we actually have a better idea of what they're working with this season. But it all comes down to health. Jared McCain's thumb, Joel Embiid's knee, Paul George's everything. Do you get anything out of Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon this year? There's just a lot of variables in Philly this year.